She was 46. Every day looked the same. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. No dreams, no noise, no color, just routine. One night, after leaving the office at midnight, she stopped walking. For the first time in years, she did not go straight home. She stood under a streetlight, tired and empty, staring at a door she had never noticed before. A small decision waited on the other side of that door. This is not a story about changing everything. It is a story about the moment something inside quietly wakes up. Rebecca is 46 years old, and her life moves in the same way every day. She wakes up early in the morning when the alarm rings. She turns it off, gets out of bed, and prepares for work without thinking too much. Her movements are slow but exact, as if her body already knows what to do before her mind wakes up. She washes her face, brushes her teeth, and looks at herself in the mirror. The woman she sees looks calm and serious, but her eyes show tiredness. There is no excitement in her expression, only routine. She leaves her apartment at the same time every morning. The street looks familiar, and nothing surprises her anymore. She walks to the bus stop, waits quietly, and then sits by the window when the bus arrives. During the ride, she watches buildings, cars, and people pass by. Everything feels distant, as if she is not truly part of the world around her. She does not think about dreams or plans. She only thinks about the work waiting for her. Rebecca works in an office where the hours are long and the tasks never seem to end. She sits at her desk, looks at her computer screen, and completes one task after another. Emails, documents, and numbers fill her day. Her coworkers greet her politely, but their conversations are short and empty. Everyone is busy. Everyone is tired. Time passes slowly, measured by the clock on the wall and the sound of typing fingers. Sometimes she forgets what day it is because every day feels the same. She often eats lunch at her desk or in a small cafe nearby. The food has no special taste to her. She eats because her body needs it, not because she enjoys it. After lunch, she returns to her desk and continues working until the sky outside the window turns dark. Many evenings, she is one of the last people to leave the office. The building becomes quiet, and the lights feel too bright. When Rebecca finally goes home, her body is exhausted. She eats a simple meal, sometimes without turning on the television. She does not have much energy to talk or think. After dinner, she lies down on her bed and lets sleep take her away. The next day begins again in the same way. Her life feels like a circle with no beginning and no end. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. She does not remember when she last felt truly happy or excited. Days pass, weeks pass, and years pass quietly. Rebecca continues moving forward, not because she wants to, but because she knows nothing else. Inside Rebecca, there is a quiet emptiness that she rarely talks about and never shows to others. From the outside, her life looks stable and organized, but on the inside, something feels missing. She goes through her days without strong emotions, as if her feelings are slowly fading away. Happiness does not visit her often, and sadness does not fully appear either. What she feels most of the time is a soft, heavy silence. When she sits at her desk in the office, she sometimes stops for a moment and stares at the screen without reading the words in front of her. Her hands remain on the keyboard, but her mind feels far away. She wonders why her work feels so empty even when she completes everything correctly. There is no sense of pride or satisfaction, only relief that one more task is finished. The work does not hurt her, but it does not give her anything in return. Rebecca rarely talks about her personal life because there is little to say. She does not have someone waiting for her at home, and her phone is usually quiet. Messages are short and practical, mostly about work or simple plans. When she hears others talk about family dinners, holidays, or shared laughter, she listens politely but feels like an outsider. Their words sound warm, but they do not reach her heart. At night, when the world becomes silent, the emptiness feels stronger. She lies in bed and looks at the ceiling, listening to the sounds of the city far away. Sometimes she remembers moments from her past, times when she laughed easily or felt excited about small things. These memories feel like pictures from another life. She does not know when or how those feelings slowly disappeared. Even simple pleasures no longer bring comfort. Music plays in the background, but she does not really hear it. Food fills her stomach, but it does not warm her. Free time feels strange and uncomfortable, so she often chooses to stay busy instead. Being busy helps her avoid thinking about what she truly feels. Silence makes her aware of the empty space inside her, and that awareness is difficult to face. Rebecca often feels tired, not only in her body, but also in her heart. It is a deep tiredness that rest does not fix. She feels disconnected from herself, as if she is watching her own life from a distance. Days continue to pass, and she continues to move through them quietly, carrying an emptiness she cannot name. She does not cry, she does not complain, and she does not ask for change. She simply exists, holding her emotions inside, hoping without knowing it that something might one day reach her and make her feel alive again. That night was different, though Rebecca did not understand why at first. She left the office later than usual, her footsteps echoing softly in the empty hallway as she walked toward the exit. The building felt colder and quieter than it did during the day. Outside, the city was still awake, but in a slower, heavier way. Streetlights shone on wet pavement, and the air carried the smell of night and tiredness. It was already midnight. Normally, she would walk straight home without thinking, following the same path she always took. Her body knew the way so well that she barely needed to pay attention. But that night, something made her slow down. Her steps became smaller. Unsure, she stopped completely on the sidewalk, standing still while the city moved around her. Cars passed, distant voices floated through the air, and somewhere music played faintly. Rebecca looked up and noticed a building she had passed many times before without really seeing it. A soft light came from inside, warm and yellow, spilling onto the street. Above the door was a simple sign. It was a bar. The windows were slightly foggy, hiding the people inside, but also inviting curiosity. She stood there longer than she expected, staring at the door as if it were asking her a question. For a moment, she felt uncomfortable. Stopping was not part of her routine. She was used to moving forward without pause, without choice. Her first thought was to continue walking and go home. Just like always, home meant safety and silence. It meant no surprises. But something kept her in place. Her heart beat a little faster, and she noticed it clearly, as if it had been quiet for a long time and was now reminding her it was still there. She took a deep breath and listened to her surroundings. The night felt open, full of unknown possibilities. Standing there, she realized how rarely she allowed herself to stop and simply feel the moment. There was no clock on the wall, no computer screen, no task waiting to be finished. There was only her, the street, and the door in front of her. Her thoughts moved slowly. She did not think about tomorrow or work. She thought about how tired she felt and how empty her apartment would be if she went home right away. She imagined herself unlocking the door, turning on the light, and sitting alone in silence. The image felt heavy. Rebecca remained still, caught between habit and something new. The pause itself felt important, even if she could not explain why. For the first time in a long while, she was not moving automatically. She was choosing whether to take another step or not. In that quiet moment on the street, she felt a small shift inside her, as if her life had slowed down just enough for her to notice it. After standing outside for what felt like a long time, Rebecca finally moved. Her hand reached for the door before her mind could stop it. The handle was cool under her fingers, and when she pushed the door open, a wave of warm air wrapped around her. The sounds inside were soft but alive low voices, gentle laughter, and quiet music playing somewhere in the background. The bar was not crowded. It felt calm, almost peaceful, like a small world separated from the street outside. She stepped inside slowly, letting the door close behind her. For a moment, she stood near the entrance, unsure of where to go. The light inside was dim and warm, very different from the bright white lights of her office. Wooden tables filled the room, and a long counter stood to one side. A few people sat alone, while others talked quietly in pairs. No one paid special attention to her, and that made her feel strangely comfortable. Rebecca chose a seat near the counter and sat down. The chair felt solid and real beneath her, grounding her in the moment. She placed her bag at her feet and rested her hands on the counter. Her fingers felt tense, and she slowly relaxed them. A person behind the counter looked at her and nodded politely. When asked what she wanted, she hesitated. She was not used to making choices like this, especially at such a late hour. Finally, she gave a simple answer and waited. As she waited, she looked around the room. The walls were decorated with old pictures and soft lights. Everything felt human, imperfect, and warm. She noticed small details she would normally ignore: the sound of glasses touching, the slow movement of someone stirring a drink, the quiet rhythm of the music. These simple things felt strangely comforting. They made her feel present, as if she had stepped out of her own thoughts and into the world again. When her drink arrived, she held the glass with both hands. The warmth traveled through her fingers, and she took a small sip. The taste surprised her. It was stronger than what she usually drank at home, and it made her pause. She took another sip, slower this time. With each moment, her body seemed to relax a little more. The tension she carried every day did not disappear, but it softened. Sitting there, Rebecca felt something she had not felt in a long time: a sense of being awake. She was not thinking about work, deadlines, or tomorrow. She was simply there, breathing, listening, and watching. Time moved differently inside the bar. It did not rush her. It allowed her to exist without demands. She realized that entering the bar was not just about escaping the night or delaying her return home. It was about allowing herself to step into something unknown. The door she had opened was small, but it mattered. In that quiet space, surrounded by strangers and soft light, Rebecca felt the beginning of something gentle and unfamiliar, like a door opening inside her as well. As Rebecca remained seated in the bar, she became aware of subtle changes within herself. Nothing dramatic happened, and no clear answers appeared. Yet something inside her had shifted. The world felt closer, more real than it had in a long time. The sounds, the light, and the quiet presence of other people made her feel connected in a simple, honest way. She was no longer just passing through time. She was living inside the moment. She noticed her breathing slow down, becoming deeper and calmer. Her shoulders, usually tense from long hours at the office, began to relax. It surprised her how such a small change in place could affect her so deeply. She realized that her life had been filled with movement, but very little awareness. Now, sitting still, she felt herself waking up from a long sleep. Rebecca watched the people around her. Each person seemed to carry a story, a life full of moments she could not see. She felt curious, not in a sharp or restless way, but in a quiet, gentle one. For the first time in years, she wondered about others and about herself without feeling tired. The curiosity did not ask for answers. It simply existed, warm and patient. As time passed, memories surfaced in her mind: small moments from her past when she felt light and open. She remembered walking without hurry, laughing without reason, and feeling connected to the world around her. These memories did not hurt. Instead, they felt like reminders of something still possible. She understood that those parts of her had not disappeared. They had only been waiting. The decision to enter the bar felt larger now. It was no longer just a break in routine, but a signal to herself. She had listened to a quiet voice inside her, a voice she had ignored for years. That voice did not shout or demand change. It simply asked her to notice her own life. By saying yes to that moment, she had said yes to herself. When Rebecca finally stood up to leave, she felt different. The night outside was the same, and the street looked familiar, but she was not. She walked more slowly, aware of her steps and the cool air against her skin. Her thoughts were softer, less heavy. She did not suddenly know what she wanted from life, but she felt less afraid of the question. As she walked home, she understood that this night marked the beginning of something quiet and personal. Change did not need to be loud or fast. Sometimes it started with a pause, a door, and a simple choice. Rebecca carried that understanding with her, knowing that even small moments of awareness could slowly lead her back to herself.